I'm Mark,
I'm Josh.
and this is Alter Ego Comics TV, episode number 130. Coming to you from Alter Ego Comics, a comic shop in Lima, Ohio. And we're here with our weekly recommendations of the cool stuff that we think you need to check out. Kind of a small week this week, but fair warning, next week is a monster of a week. But before we get there, why don't we talk about this week? First up for me is Justice League, number 23. This is the final part of Trinity War, which was a 6-part epic running through the 3 Justice League titles. And this was put together by Jeff Johns, also written by Jeff Lemire, or co-written, or co-plotted, or he was involved in some degree, Mr. Lemire. But Jeff Johns did a lot of the heavy lifting on this with an assist from Mr. Lemire. And I've got to say, it did not disappoint. As I mentioned in last week's episode, DC is struggling in some areas right now, but this is not one of them. The 3 Justice League books, this Trinity War event, was excellent. I cannot recommend it highly enough. And there are a number of oh my moments in here, as my friend George Takei would say. And I don't want to spoil them, because then you may not go oh my when you open it. But there are a number of things that are left unresolved, and that leads us into Forever Evil, which starts next week. That's a 7-issue monthly series written by Jeff Johns with artwork by David Finch. And the villains have won by the end of this to some degree. And Forever Evil is going to explore that further, as well as the aforementioned, and by aforementioned I mean last week, the Villains Month one-shots also begin next week and run through the entire month of September. So, if you want to figure out what's going on in the DC universe, you really could not have missed Trinity War. You want to check out this last part and see where we're headed in the DCU, because I think some big changes are coming. And the only other thing I want to add about this is Ivan Reis's artwork in here is amazing. There are like 2 or 3 splash pages in here, which are well-deserved. You know, sometimes you get unnecessary splash pages just trying to eat up page count, but these are very cool. And his artwork in this issue kind of sort of reminded me of Neil Adams.
See that?
In a good way. Good Neil Adams. So Ivan Reis may be the Neil Adams of the 21st century. Who knows? I liked it. You're next.
I also liked it. Next up, we have Federal Bureau of Physics, issue number 2. But Josh, you say, I don't have Federal Bureau of Physics number 1. No, you don't. No one does. Last month, we told you about a new book from Vertigo called Colider, written by Simon Oliver, with art by Robbie Rodriguez. And due to some legal things involving copyrights and trademarks, the title of the book has been now changed to Federal Bureau of Physics, which actually is a better title in that it tells you a little more about what the book is about, but is a worse title in that it will be frustrating people who want to organize their long boxes for the rest of time. So in the first issue, if you don't recall, we learned that it's a slightly different world from ours, where in addition to having the traditional problems we have with fire and theft and war, they also have sometimes physics betrays you. Weird bubbles where the laws of nature simply don't apply. Gravity could be screwed up. All sorts of alternate reality things. And we follow a team, or well, really we follow specifically 2 guys who work for the Federal Bureau of Physics in investigating these weird snafus. At the end of the last issue, they went into a bubble that had appeared in reality, and this issue we follow them into the bubble and see the alternate world that's even weirder than the one they were already in. And it's really good. So just be aware of the title change. If you liked Collider 1, you should pick up Federal Bureau of Physics 2 and see what happens inside the bubble.
And at least at our shop, you'll find this in the F section, not in the C section. C section. My wife had a few of those. But anyway, next up is Lazarus, issue number 3 by Greg Rucka and Michael Lark. This is published by Image Comics and is just all kinds of awesome. If you're a fan of Greg Rucka, there's no excuse for not reading this. If you're not a fan, you should at least try some of Greg Rucka's stuff, whether it's Gotham Central, whether it's his Punisher series at Marvel, or Lazarus. It's only on issue 3. We actually have issues 1 and 2, so if you'd like to start at the beginning and you haven't checked them out yet, come on in. We've got them. We'll show you where they are. But this definitely has a little bit of a Godfather feel to it. You've got different families that control different areas of the United States, but then you factor in each family also has a Lazarus, which is basically a family member that cannot die. You can shoot them, you can cut things off, you can do crazy things, and they regenerate, they come back to life. We don't know a whole lot about the Lazaruses at this point. But Forever Carlyle is the Lazarus of the Carlyle family. She's the main character of the book, and she's a very cool character. She's a likable character. This has intrigue, it has drama, it has, as I mentioned, kind of crime family action and explosions and guns and all kind. There's nothing not to like about this book. But you should check it out. Lazarus 3 gives 4 stars out of 4 from me. And as I said, we have the previous 2 issues, so come in and check them out.
That wouldn't have occurred to me, but you're right. The Godfather is an excellent analog for the type of story being told there with the families. Good call.
Thank you. I make them sometimes.
Next up, we have Superman Batman, issue number 3. Words by Greg Pak, art by Jay Lee, with art assist from somebody else. Vladimir Sinar. No, that's not a name. Yildiray Sinar. Don't they make TIE fighters? Is that Cinear? No, it doesn't matter. Anyway.
I got nothing.
Batman Superman issue 3 continues to be really cool. It's our new arc, not new, I guess it's on issue 3. It's been out for a couple months, and this is telling the first meeting of Superman and Batman in the New 52, and then some. We've the young, first appearance Superman, Batman, Superman still in his blue jeans, Batman. Still Batman, actually, really. I have been sucked into an alternate reality. There's some chatter on the internet that it's Earth 2. I still haven't seen anything to actually say that in the book, but I believe it. And you've got really interesting stuff, because you've got in the Earth 2 continuity, Superman and Batman are older, just traditionally. So they've known each other for years. You see some of their backstory and the way things went in their universe, and you see the differences in the personalities as they develop, the way their relationship changes, and you also see tie-ins to the events of the first arc of Justice League and the first arc of the Earth 2 series, assuming this is, in fact, the Earth 2 universe. And it's just really, really good. If you like Superman Batman, if you like that dynamic, that friendship, it's really interesting what Pak's doing and exploring it here from different sides at the same time. And it goes without saying that Jay Lee's art is purty, and he draws stuff nice.
I was even a fan of Yildiray Sinar's art, and he does some flashback panels with young Bruce and young Clark. And where have we seen that story before? Was it in
seen
the Loeb Sale stuff?
Parts of it other places. It might have been in Superman for Tomorrow?
For All Seasons?
For All Seasons?
I don't know where it was.
It wasn't exactly. It's different, but it's similar.
It's
to
very similar with Bruce traveling with Alfred through Smallville, and the car breaks down, and Clark is out. Young Clark is playing baseball with a buddy and with Pete, and Pete leaves, and he invites Bruce out to play ball with him, and then they spend the day hanging out and go back and have dinner at the Kents, and that stuff is cool. As a comic fan, as a longtime reader, I think all of us kind of appreciate those quiet moments with the characters and how they've grown as friends. And I really look at Superman and Batman as brothers. They're more than friends. They're brothers who will argue a lot of the time, but they'll also be on the same side of an argument many times too. So just a really good book. Next up for me is a little bit of a different book. It is Star Wars Jedi Academy. This is written by Jeffrey Brown, who did the Vader and Son book and the Vader's Little Princess book. So, first off, if you have either one of those, you need this. If you're a fan of the way that Jeffrey Brown did that, both of those books were excellent sellers for us and excellent sellers across the country. This should actually do better than those two, because it's not one-page little... What do I want to say? Help me out.
Far Side jokes? One-panel comics.
They're not one-panel comics. This is an actual story. So, who is Star Wars Jedi Academy for? Anyone that liked Vader and Son, anybody that liked Vader's Little Princess, and anybody who has children or likes the Diary of Your Wimpy Kid books, because that's basically what this is. This is diary. I'm trying not to say diarrhea. Diary of a Wimpy Kid in the Star Wars universe.
Diary of a Wimpy Jedi.
So you've got a kid, a middle school student who's supposed to be going to pilot school, and then Yoda plucks him out and says, need to go to Jedi. You need to go to the Jedi Academy, and I'm going to train you.
But he said it backwards, probably, since it's
He
Yoda.
did, yes. And there's a very cool trailer for this book on the YouTubes, and I actually posted it on our Facebook page, or I will be. Yes, it will be on our Facebook page, where the kid imitates the way Yoda talks, and it's kind of funny. So, you know, I have an 11-year-old that loves the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. He's going to read this. If you have kids that like Star Wars, as I said, if you're a Star Wars fan, there's so much to like about this. It's funny, and it could be the first in a series if it does well enough. So, one of the really cool, different things that came out this week.
And one of the really cool, not that different things that came out this week is Thor God of Thunder number 12. Not that different because we've been telling you about every single issue. This is your great chance to get in on a great book. This is the first issue after the first story arc. So you can pick this up without having read any of the previous Aaron Thor stuff, without reading really. As long as you know who Thor is, you saw the movie, you'll probably be okay. And this is, to me, this is the best argument for an ongoing universe. This book, in and of itself, doesn't do anything. You know, if this book was about Johnny, God of Storms, I don't care at all. But because it's a quiet moment, it's a one-off issue with Thor, God of Thunder, we already have that affection for the character. We already know where he's at, so we can see all these little moments and tell a story that's not grand, but it's really touching and human, and it's great. It's a day in the life of the God of Thunder. And I just enjoyed the heck out of it. It was not what I was expecting from the 12th issue, but it was exactly what the 12th issue should have been. It was just a great book.
I agree 100%. It is, and I said with the last issue, it felt like we were kind of at the end of a first movie or the end of a first chapter, and this is that quiet moment that comes afterwards before we jump into more smashing and drinking and other stuff. Because the next issue, issue 13, is the beginning of a multi-part storyline with the Dark Elf from the upcoming movie, Malekith, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
From Walt Simonson's run back in the 80s. So this was excellent. I was really surprised to see what's going on with Jane Foster.
Mm-hmm. That was.
I
did not see that coming.
I did not see that coming. Excellent stuff. So as I said at the beginning, kind of a quiet week for comics, but next week, just a heads up, we've got the second issue of Infinity. We've got Forever Evil #1. We've got the first week of DC Villains Month issues. We've got the Star Wars #1, which is the comic book adapting George Lucas's Rough Draft, which has some crazy stuff in it, where Han Solo's a green alien, and the hero is Anakin Starkiller, and Luke Skywalker is the Obi-Wan character. And so anyway, that's coming out. What else is coming out? Oh, Battle for the Atom. Battle for the Atom #1 comes out next week. So it's just, and those are just like the really high points, but there's a bunch of other stuff happening too. Speaking of stuff happening, if you are local, we want to give you some information here. We've got some events coming up in September that we want you to get on your calendar. First up is Wednesday, September 11th. At 7 p.m., we're doing something called Previews Night, where we're inviting everyone to come in and go through the Previews catalog with us. Now, if you don't know what that is, the Previews catalog comes out every month. It's the catalog that we order all of our products out of, and it's a consumer catalog. So we order out of the same catalog that you order out of. That makes a whole lot of sense. But it's a 500-plus page catalog filled with comics and collectibles and T-shirts and games and odds and ends. So we're going to highlight some things for you that we think should be on your radar, but we want you to talk to us about what you like in the Previews catalog, answer or ask questions. We'll answer those for you, and you can reserve stuff on the spot. So that's going to be at the store Wednesday, September 11th at 7 p.m. All right, Thursday. I'm going to try and keep all these dates straight in my head because I don't have notes. Thursday, September 19th, from 7 until 9 p.m. at the store, is our first ever Ladies' Night Out. Now, this is for the ladies only. This is not a typical ladies' night where the ladies get in free and the guys have to pay. This is a ladies' night only event where we're inviting women to come in and learn more about comic books. A lot of times, women are kind of afraid to go into comic book stores because they think they're dark and scary and filled with stinky, weird people. I was waiting for some comments, but they did not come. But also for moms to come in and check out what's available for kids. You know, get your kids off the couch playing video games and watching TV and reading, because comics are a great thing for them to read. We're going to have some cupcake samples from Sarah's Sweets. She's also going to have some superhero-themed cupcakes for sale. We're doing a door prize drawing where you can win a graphic novel every month for a year. And we'll have some goodie bags for you, and we're working on some other fun stuff. So, ladies, Thursday, September 19th from 7 to 9 at the store, Ladies Night Out. Hope to see you there. And then finally in September, we've got the big Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. premiere party on Tuesday, September 24th at the Met, which is just a half a block up the street from us here on Main Street. And that's from 7 to 9. The show starts at 8. We're going to be showing the premiere episode at the Met, but we're going to have door prizes. The Met's doing some superhero-themed drink and food specials. We may do some trivia, but it's just an opportunity for comic fans to get together and watch this highly anticipated TV series, the premiere episode, directed and produced and written, I think, to some degree, by Joss Whedon, who directed The Avengers and created Buffy the Vampire Slayer and everything else that's cool in the world of geekdom. So get that on your calendar too. Tuesday, September 24th, 7 to 9 at the Met. That's our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. premiere party. One more thing. We conducted a survey last couple weeks, asking if you would be interested in the store being open until 8 o'clock a couple nights during the week, and we tabulated all those results. And as a result, starting next week, so starting the first week of September, we will be open until 8 p.m. on Wednesdays and Fridays. So store hours will be Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 10 a.m. till 6 p.m., Wednesday and Friday, 10 a.m. until 8 p.m., and Saturdays, 10 to 4. So on new release day, you can shop until 8 o'clock at night. On Friday, start your weekend, come in after work. We're open until 8 o'clock on Friday, starting the first week in September. Did I miss anything?
No.
Okay. That's plenty of information to throw at you for this week. So keep reading comics. We'll see you next week.